So I have not given an update or a thoughts video for a little bit, and I wanted to make one right now because I wanted to give my thoughts on the progress and how Final Fantasy XIV is today, and an update to my channel. Just to let you guys know, this is not a script, there's no script in this is just pure me, and I'm going to be talking to you guys, and I'm going to try to at least edit out as much of the air, just a little bit of the air, as much as possible, just so that I can talk to you guys clearly. Anyway, let's get started with what I want to talk about first. I want to talk about Final Fantasy XIV. Obviously, I love the fact that Endwalker is coming out, and I cannot wait till it comes out. There's going to be a lot of stuff in terms of lore when it comes to that game, or at least that expansion, sorry. But there's going to be a lot of lore that's going to be coming from this, and I'm pretty sure all of our channels, every 14 channels, is going to rise up, especially when Endwalker is going to come out. However, the few things that they did say that really interest me is that they're going to be changing the combat system, they're going to be changing PvP, and I think they're going to add more stuff like minigames and stuff in Endwalker. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of new stuff in Endwalker, new locations, of course. But where the fact that they're going to take care of PvP, I hope that they take a look at all the other PvPs out there in MMOs, they take a little from that, because we all know that Final Fantasy XIV takes a lot from like games like World of Warcraft, which in this case right now, I don't want to say that I have any kind of bias against World of Warcraft, but I keep hearing news of how like Activision Blizzard, I guess that's what they're called now, that they are basically not doing right for the players of World of Warcraft. I do plan to play Classic, World of Warcraft Classic, to see what I miss and not have a bias against it. I want to see how Classic is going and how that's going on. Or if you guys want to give me more advice, I guess I could either do Classic or Retail. Some people said I should do Retail instead of Classic, and I don't know if that's like an agenda for me to hate World of Warcraft or anything, but I want to play Classic because I want to know how it felt like, 10 or so years ago when the game first came out. So that's what I'm aiming for. But if there is a reason for me to do Retail, please let me know in the comments below. Other than that, 14 is coming out with also new combat. This combat obviously probably has something to do with the PvP, and like I said, I hope PvP does very well when it comes out in Endwalker. I know it's a focus of theirs because it's been the weakest part of 14 for years, but when it comes to the combat, I'm just, a little bit excited at the same time, because it's like, hey, they're coming out with something new with the combat. Maybe there's going to be changes to the jobs, and I hope it's not like subtle changes like the attributes or anything like that, or they take away or give skills to the combat in terms of the jobs. Because to be honest, as much as I complain how the Dark Knight is much weaker than it was before, I'm even more sad for other jobs getting nerfed or getting things cut, and then they're trying to make something more relevant, while they're trying to nerf it so that it could stay all balanced. Now, balance is a good thing when it comes to jobs, but at the same time, I would love to see uniqueness. This is something that I don't know if they're going to ever pull off, because I honestly am not looking forward to a job that's getting nerfed or being changed because someone complained about it in a forum post. Like, how Dark Knight used to have something called Dark Arts. They were saying that they're tired of pressing the Dark Arts button for every single thing they do. Now, I can understand that, just inherently giving it to us as a buff that, slowly trickles down, sure, that's a good idea. And I'm not going to complain about the fact that they took out the Dark Arts button, but did they really have to take out, like, some other moves that we definitely did have, or had the ability to do? Like, the spam of visual drains may have made them, a bit broken in dungeons, but it was fun, because a Dark Knight could basically take care of themselves in crowds. And I believe they had an ability called Blood Pact, which if they ever got hurt or hit, they would just, sorry, not Blood Pact, Blood Price. So every time they got hit, they gained more MP into their gauge, and you know what? That helped them be able to use more Dark Arts or more of their abilities. It was a fun thing to have, but they took it away because they said people complained about the Dark Arts button. How do we balance the Dark Knight so that they're not so OP over the other tanks? Honestly, I think that's fair, but it's not fun. It's not fun. It's fair, but it's not fun. What I want to see when it comes to like jobs altogether, when it comes to the classes and the combat, I would love to see sometime in the future, we know this is not going to be a thing in Endwalker, but I would love to see like a unique tree for all the jobs, a unique tree, more skills. And I know they're like, we don't want to confuse them with useless skills. It's like, we know, you make it like a progressive skill, where I believe they had, for Dark Knights, it was like Edge of Shadow from like Flood of Shadow, and then it was just like, oh, okay, well, I know that's not the comparison there. It's like Edge of Shadow to like something else. It progressed. It was something weaker, and then it became something much more powerful as you leveled up your Dark Knight. But whenever I look at other MMOs or animes that have MMOs as the central focus of the show, I always see something cool when they have like, oh, you've earned this skill because you did something in the game that nobody else has done, like how Kirito became a dual swordsman because he did something that allowed him to do so. He met the requirements to become a dual swordsman in the game. Whereas like in Final Fantasy XIV, you don't have that kind of thing. Everyone's job is pretty cookie cutter. There is no difference between me being an Aura and that person over there being a Lalafell being the same job, a Dark Knight. We don't have anything much different. Maybe I output just a tiny number of more strength if I get lucky in terms of crit, but that person may also get more damage off, and I guess they have like that small racial thing, but it's so small and insignificant. It's microscopic when it comes down to that. Like the Lalafell has like more P80 or spell speed or something like that. It means nothing in the grand scheme of things, but that Lalafell over there, that's a Dark Knight, does the same exact stuff that I do. He does the same exact thing. I do as much damage as they do, and the only difference would be like our armor or our gear and the materia that we have on them. You could say that the uniqueness can come from the materia that they have on, but it doesn't really change anything if everybody's gonna go with crit or direct hit or determination, because it's those top 3 stats that we're focusing on in terms of tanking. There's no reason for us to touch, skill speed unless we really need the skill speed, or God forbid, tenacity. And nobody's going to touch tenacity because I don't know if we're capped at tenacity, but they don't really encourage us to use tenacity that well. They say that is our best stat. That's what 14 is saying, that tenacity is supposed to be the central stat for tanking, but no one is putting tenacity on their gear. They're using even skill speed, but crit, direct hit, or determination. There's really no real difference, and depending on like what gear you have, you may have to put on different materia, but that doesn't make you really unique. That just means that maybe you're slightly faster when it comes to your skills, maybe you're slightly stronger when it comes to your attacks, maybe you have a better chance, slightly, ever so microscopically, to have a better crit damage than I do. But in terms of what we do, like if we stand next to each other and we're in Savage, right, or we're in any kind of trial, we're probably going to be mirroring ourselves. We're probably going to be doing the same exact thing. There is no difference in what we are doing. We're going to go through the same rotation, we're going to go through the same crap, and when we're done, we've done the same thing at the end of the trial. So, and that bothers me a little bit, only because like there's no real difference between that guy and myself. We did the same exact thing, we got the same result or similar results, and that doesn't make me feel unique in my battle class. Like I would love to have like a tree system in 14 where I have skills that I can choose from to make my job even more unique. And I know there's always gonna be like, oh, but the meta says, well, the meta can kiss my ass, because I really don't care about the meta, but sometimes people will say, oh, this is the best skill for you. Well, what if I want to be different? What if I don't want to be like the strongest Dark Knight, but maybe, the most defensive Dark Knight, or the fastest Dark Knight, or the most magically inclined Dark Knight, something that's even more supportive Dark Knight, something like that. What if there are unique hidden skills within the game that you have to meet certain requirements to do to get that ability? I mean, I know that would probably throw a lot of people off, because then it's like, oh, it's imbalanced because they have this ability. It's like, well, they earned that ability, right? First of all, and second of all, that's that's kind of cool that they get this unique ability out of all the Dark Knights because they met the requirements of something, which maybe like, you know, Reaper of Souls or something, and they get like an extra amount of health every time they hit an opponent, or they have an ability that nukes everything and blinds the entire the mob base, or perhaps they have a vulnerability down ability that that'd be kind of cool, you know. I'm just saying, some uniqueness in terms of quality when it comes to the jobs. That is what I am looking for when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV, and hopefully maybe they can think about that. I know they want to keep things balanced, and that's fair. That's definitely fair. But I'm thinking about the fun aspect of the game and not how fair it can be. I want something to be fun rather than fair. Like, we all know that when it comes to certain fighting games, there are characters that have an edge on everybody else or everything else. There's like a tier of characters that have an edge on everybody else. Fighting games sometimes don't think about the balance, and they just move forward with it. Like, for instance, if I were to say like Street Fighter, I don't know who would be like considered one of the best, but I'm gonna say Akuma. Akuma is like a glass cannon. He has like similar fighting styles to like Ken and Ryu, but he's just outright like better in terms of the Shoto style, and he would be arguably better than those two, and he would be a tier above. And they're gonna be like, oh, but you know what, we're gonna balance him out by having not as much health. And people are focusing more on how fun Akuma is rather than how balanced Akuma is, you know what I'm saying? And I would love for Dark Knight to be fun rather than just, oh yeah, they're balanced, you know? Sometimes I even think about, what if tanks did as much damage as some of the DPS? What if they did that? And I know that's not what they're going to ever do. They're never going to let tanks do as much damage because they're supposed to be purely defensive. But what if they did? What if tanks were doing a hefty sum of damage due to their unique abilities, or because, you know, they just allowed it to be so? You know, just think about that for a second, and let me know in the comments below what you think about that in terms of like combats and jobs. Just let me know in the comments below. I would love to see what you guys think about that. And now the big thing here, I guess you could say is the big thing, is update to my channel. What is going on with the Sync Weaver? What is going on with the channel? How come he doesn't put up a lot of videos all the time? Well, I've been thinking about either putting out like everyday videos, just giving my thoughts on something, but then it wouldn't be like pertaining to a lot of stuff that is on my channel. And I thought long and hard on whether I wanted to be like a varied channel, and I do want to be a varied channel, but Final Fantasy, I'm like really knees in there. Like, my feet are already in 14 and Final Fantasy altogether, so I might as well stick to it, and then I'll, you know, branch out whenever I feel I have reached that kind of growth. So maybe someday when I reach like 10k, 30k, maybe even 50k, I'll try to do something else in terms of my channel. Now, in terms of what I want to do, I do want to try to put out like a weekly video, whether it's just me talking about something, or maybe it's something related to 14, or maybe it's something related to something else. And I do want to give like a signal to those videos, just to let you know, oh, this isn't about, you know, Final Fantasy in any kind of way. It's just something else. It's a varied thing, but mostly it's probably going to be about Final Fantasy in some form or fashion, because I don't get a lot of time to work on these videos, not all the time. And I'm in the midst of making Eorzea Historia number 4, which is what a lot of people are waiting for. They're waiting for that particular video, and there are going to be other videos after that. You know, Eorzea Historia 5 is probably going to be the longest out of all of them, due to the fact that the lore is thick. After this one, I'm already like done with the voiceover and the script, and I'm trying to get like animations and the editing done for Eorzea Historia 4. So that's what's happening right now. And I know a lot of you guys are just like, wait, hold on. You had like a whole entire year to make this video. I know, but there was a lot of things that caught my attention. For instance, I am part of a podcast. That podcast I do every Sunday. Maybe some of you know about it, maybe some of you don't, but I do a podcast every single Sunday. And there were some times we had actual guests, but yeah, every single Sunday I do a podcast. And if you guys want to support that, please go ahead and click or join the link. There is the channels that I will leave in the description, and I will also leave it in the comments. But yeah, those are podcasts that me and my friends have started, and I think I'm going to be starting another podcast with some other friends who are more on the commentary side rather than like a genre of gaming and electronics or news or stuff like that. We just talk and banter, which is, it's going to be a lot of black humor in that one. But for the update of the channel, yeah, that's what's happening. Eorzea Historia 4 is in the works right now. I'm trying to edit this before a certain other YouTuber makes it to a certain point of his marathon, and hopefully I can work out a way that I can schedule myself to making at least smaller videos so that I can, at least fill up the channel with something every week, because that's pretty much all the time I have for this channel. Like once a week put out a video. I'm gonna have to try to just stick with that over and over in my mind. I have to say, do something. You have to make a video. Please make a video while you're working on this larger video or something. Now, in terms of the streams, that's probably going to slow down a bit because of me working on the channel. You can't really have success within streaming if you don't have notoriety, and that's the thing here. If you don't have an already core fan base, you're not going to have a big streaming career, and that is what I'm going to have to work on. I'm going to have to focus more on content on the channel and getting my name out there, rather than just being that person who just pops up on stream all randomly with like 5 or so people watching it. That absolutely sucks and it's demoralizing. So that's what I'm going to work on. I'm going to work on more content on the channel, probably pull out something every week rather than just, stream every day, and use that time to, figure out what kind of content I want, But with that being said, and with as many knows that I've caught that with myself, I say a lot of knows, and I'm gonna have to try to settle that down. But I'm gonna try to work out a schedule, and hopefully we can make this into a big thing. Eorzea Historia is coming. It just takes a lot of time. There's a lot of rebranding I have to do. There's some animation that I'm looking into, and just know that my hours have been cut a little bit shorter due to the fact that I am learning like certain programming languages right now, so that I can further my career to get more money, and I can go ahead and fund my channel even more. And there's just this quest that I'm also doing. I have my own apartment right now, but this is a temporary abode, and eventually I want to go like somewhere else that's quieter. It's fine right now, but it gets kind of loud at certain points of the day, not night, but the day, and I'm working on that. Anyway, this video has been long. Holy shit. Usually at this point I would think about erasing the audio and just starting over so I can make it to 10 minutes, but I think a longer video is something a lot of people will probably tune into because they want to waste their time in some form or fashion. So that's it for me. I hope you guys understand what's going on. Leave your comments down below, obviously, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell, because I would love to have subscribers watching my videos instead of random people coming out of nowhere. And I've already showed statistics of where there's only like a good maybe 6% of people are actually subscribed, and that's odd. It's weird and odd. But anyway, please subscribe to the channel. Like I said, hit the bell, and don't forget to leave a like or dislike depending on how you feel about the video, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.